Hey folks, welcome back to Mobile Ministry Magazine, and this is kind of a late March or really a late into 2016 videocast. I really wanted to get some ideas down or at least some thoughts your direction because it has been a little while since there's been some writing on the site as well as a little while since we've done the videocast. Now, just as a review of things, Mobile Ministry Magazine is an online magazine formed in 2004 to really begin and ask the questions, what happens at the intersection of faith and mobile technology? Now, some of those things that happen at the intersection of faith and mobile technology might be discovering new ways, new methods of using this mobile space. And for a long time, that's really what Mobile Ministry Magazine was, just trying to discover or observe ways that folks have been using or trying to use mobile technology. Now, of course, we've kind of evolved past just discovering and observing. We now just relate actually what happens in mobile technology to you, a wider audience, and then we try to help release some things. So, because Mobile Ministry Magazine is just a one guy operation, one of the opportunities that I have on a regular basis is to be able to speak into other organizations, speak into other groups as to how technology and the influences around these mobile or not as mobile, these connected spaces might have an influence into the way they do things. Now, sometimes it becomes a really simple affair of just maybe helping you figure out, do you need an app or a website? Other times it's a little bit more complicated than that. And that's really where Mobile Ministry Magazine has been over the last 10 years. Thank you for jumping in to this video cast. I don't like to keep these going very long. We go about 7 to 8 minutes when we throw these out there for good reason. I talk and I can talk forever. All right. So what's going on right now in this, second quarter now of 2016? First off, security and privacy has become a fairly big issue. Weirdly enough, I found myself, kind of propped into this issue, not just because of what we've done with Mobile Ministry Magazine and talking to groups, missions groups, and other groups who are dealing with secure practices for ensuring their data stays great, dealing with the human factor, dealing with the, should I use Apple or Android or Mac OS or Windows, or why don't you want to read the terms of services and why you should read the terms of services, and what are your options here? Well, those are some of the things that really have brokered a good chunk of 2016. Another piece of 2016 has been the rise, or at least the normalization, of what we consider mobile computing as the norm in computing. We've been saying since, I want to say 2007, 2008, that mobile computing is it. That is the main facets of computing for most people, and that's going to be the case for the foreseeable future. Now, personally speaking, I see us moving more towards wearables. I mean, literally, I wear one here and I wear one here. So it's actually not that far of a thought. But I think as we look at how technology and faith are going to combine with each other, we're going to start seeing some evolution of thought, evolution of activity when the technology actually starts to disappear. And fashion might be part of that. Cybernetics might be part of that. Wearables, obviously, part of that. Eyeables, earables. We've heard those terms all around this idea that technology that begins to disappear. Now that we've started to figure out what it is that it does to either augment or de-augment, kind of disengage us from what it means to be human. So some really good stuff right there. Some stuff very much worth pulling apart all the more. Other pieces that are going on, your boy just got an acquisition not too long ago. That is an iPad, not a little iPad, because I am recording this on my mini iPad, but we're looking here at the iPad Pro, aka the big dog. This is a big honking tablet. Now, I've had this for a little bit more than a week. One of the few things I can say about this is that the weight, my gosh, for the size of the device it is, this weight is amazing. Apple's engineers done incredible work, and to think this is old. So they came out with this last year, but their engineers have already surpassed this for whatever the next iPad Pro would look like. That's amazing kind of stuff. There's an attention to detail here that reminds me of how, the Michelangelos, the Donatellos, had painted things for the church, and they really took pride in the craftsmanship, pride in the artsmanship. There's really a sense of that when it comes to Apple's products, and it's a good thing to behold. Now, I won't comment too much on the Apple FBI thing, but you guys kind of all can kind of see where that's going. I find myself in an Apple household, but some of us can't get away from, the Android side of the world. I actually use, this guy. This is my Yola tablet. You can see Yola kind of written on the back right there, development tablet. But I've been using this as my other tablet for a good while, and now it's actually the smallest tablet that I have, that an iPad mini. These are my home devices, and the Yola tablet allows me to use Android in such a manner that I'm not as exposed to some of the security risk that Android devices are open to. I don't have to allow the whole device to be open to, my microphone being tapped or my camera being on when it's not supposed to, because the way selfish the operating system kind of just bends those things around. It just doesn't allow for that kind of happening, that kind of opportunity. Now, I'll be using that Android tuned version. It doesn't run Android, it runs Sailfish, but I'll be using this to explore some of the things with Android software, because Sailfish is an open source operating system, and for some of you who may be operating in some closed countries, or maybe operating in places where having an Android phone, while it's a good idea, you might be having something a little less spec. You might look into using Sailfish OS as another option. As a phone, it's been ported to the Nexus 4, it's been ported to the Nexus 5, and several other mobile devices. So you can really use it and get a little bit more life out of that hardware before you find yourself to giving it up. Now, if you don't, and you're looking at Android devices, personally speaking, that 5X looks really nice. The 6P is a little big for me. The Moto X, a little bit big for me. But they're all really solid devices if that's the route that you want to go to. Personally, hey, apparently I'm now an Apple guy because I got none but Apple devices around me. But it is what it is in that respect. But that's really about it right now. At the intersection of faith and mobile technology, we really want to talk about, what do you do and who do you enable? What do you expound? What do you expose? When having this is my work laptop. I take this now into the office, prop it up, and this, along with my Mini, really becomes the 3 screens that I use in order to create software experiences, to create opportunities for behavior that changes the world. I think, or at least I hope, that you are using your technology to do the same thing. Now, if you want to tune into a few more of these, definitely look in the playlist. There's a whole lot more where this came from. We talk about all kinds of things in these Mobile Ministry Magazine Videocast. Other thing I want to point out to you is that starting a couple days ago, a couple days before now, so this is Palm Sunday, but a couple days before now, the International Conference of Computing and Mission, ICCM, has begun opening their registration for the Americas event and the Africa event. Africa event goes on in April. The Americas event goes on in June. Definitely check out ICCM.org for more information about these conferences. Definitely get registered. If you are family, friends, members, if your church's IT team, if your church's missions tech team has not been involved with finding out what other techies are doing, how they are trying to understand and come together with one another on this idea of what is computing in ministry looks like, ICCM is a really great time to get together. Plus, it's a spiritual retreat. So it's a little bit of everything. You get your workshops, and then you also get a little bit of time to get a refresh and renewed with other men and women. Yes, there are women that show up to ICCM, and they're crazily good in the tech too. So guys, check it out. But I really encourage you guys to check out ICCM. If you want to hear a little bit more about my thoughts on my craziness when it comes to ministry and technology, every week, Tuesday nights Eastern Time, 9 o'clock, you can catch me on the Theotech podcast. Go to theotech.com to subscribe. Go and view that. You can see the calendar of what we're going to talk about. If you are involved in the local church, if you're involved in a missional church, if you're involved in a parachurch, if you are just involved in faith and ministry, and you've got something with which should be shared with a wider audience, I really encourage you to get out and come and join us on Theotech. We'd be more than happy to have you as a guest. So that being said, we're at our time limit. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope to catch you, if not on another video, definitely on another post. Many blessings to all of you. Be safe on this Easter season, this Resurrection Sunday season. And just, remember, technology is only as good as the person who has it in their hand. And technology isn't God. Neither are you. The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, and he turns it whichsoever way he desires. I hope he's turning your heart to use technology in the right way for his people and his glory. Peace.